One reason that both sides, and as well, really a deciding factor for the public is the death penalty is a deterrent. It's one common phrase that was brought up a lot throughout the debate and also can be brought up through many conversations. Is the death penalty really a deterrent? Is that a really good reason to have it in place? Is that it prevents crimes? It's just scary enough to stop things from happening? Or, um, is life without parole just as effective? If not more effective, staying alive, thinking about what you've done. It's really something that needs to be taken into consideration because if death penalty is removed, which it definitely should be, it's definitely not something that seems to be needed. But if it is to be removed, is life without parole stepping into that position as the top level sentencing within the United States, of course? Is that enough? Or is it not going to be enough and death really needs to stay there? And my answer to that is, it is. It's much more scary having to stay alive and face the punishment for your crimes and be able to be killed or, as people say, go out the easy way. You don't have to um, necessarily live with your actions, live with consequences. Um, Another thing that I think is very important to bring up that it was interesting to not see in the debates, but um, the fact that there has been botched uh, death sentences. People have had lethal injection botched. There's been cases of the electric chair not working properly to where they'd have to shock somebody again. Uh, Definitely, that's one concern that I know has been brought up by people that I tend to think about as well. Um, we're really taking it into somebody's hands to really back up that Eighth Amendment and not have cruel and unusual punishment. If death penalty is used, it has to be done properly, and there should not be any botched cases. And since there has been in the past, it just shows once again human error is something to take into consideration, and that really goes against cruel and unusual punishment. It really says that is torturous to somebody to inject them with chemicals that is meant to stop their heart and that has been said to be painful, even if it's for moments. It's painful, and that has been botched. So I really do think that, you know, the death penalty in some eyes could be seen as a deterrent, but at the same time, really taking life without parole into consideration, since it is second in line currently, to really think about, that is pretty scary as well. And that is a pretty harsh sentence that is still taking away somebody's life. And that is one of the sentences that Greenwald is saying, sentencing reform, you know, giving other options that, uh, we have mandatory sentencing, we have people serving out full sentences and long sentences, but where is a little bit of a break? Where is the reform and where is the rehabilitation coming into play? And really caring about our citizens and wanting the best out of our citizens rather than punishing our citizens. And so with the death penalty, it's more of a scare tactic and making sure people are handled rather than what can we do as a society to change and make things better. And so with it, it's just not needed at the top. It's been around. People have seen it happen, the good and the bad that it is done. And at this point, the bad just really outweighs the good. And as well, with even Mark Hussein, it's few and far between that it's really charged to people. So why keep something around that's rarely used? Let's move past it. Let's come up with other options and let's go through a sentencing reform and really, really making sure we're making the best out of our country and really being a leading example rather than harsh and the worst